Now we're going to learn Fall to Pieces. The first thing to talk about is the tuning. This song is tuned down a half step. So here's my low E string. Here's the A string. You know it, you love it, you can't live without it? The D string. You know what's next? That's right, the G string. Here's the B. And of course, who could forget the high E string? All right, so once you're in tune, you're ready to get started, here's the intro. So there are the first 4 bars before the vocals enter the song. Let's take a look at one bar at a time. Here's the first bar. We're going to start with a D sus4 chord. What we need to do here is play a D chord, but then we're going to add our 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string, and that gives us D sus4. Then take off the 4th finger and play the 2nd fret of the high E string, followed by the 3rd fret of the B string, 2nd fret to the open G string, followed by the 4th fret of the D string. This is kind of tricky. We have to grab the 4th fret of the D with the 4th finger. So here's what we've done so far. And then we're going to repeat that, followed by some open strings, open D, open G string, 2nd fret A string, open G string. And if we put all of that together, that gives us the first measure. The second measure starts off with a C chord and sounds like this. So we're going to strum the bottom of the C chord. I'm going to stop before I get to the high E string because the second note of this measure will be the open high E string. And then I'm just going to pick backwards. 1st fret on the B string, open G, 2nd fret D, open G. Followed by a G5 chord, which I'll play 2 times. That's formed 3rd fret low E, mute the A string just by lightly touching with your middle finger, open D string, open G string, 3rd fret on the top 2 strings. So play this chord 2 times. Now I'm going to play a G chord with B in the bass by simply placing my 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. I'll then hammer on to the 3rd fret of the A string. Back to the G chord with B in the bass, followed by a C add 9 chord. 3rd fret, A string, 2nd fret, D string, open G, 3rd fret, top 2 strings. That's a C add 9. So once again, if we put all this together, that gives us the second measure. The third measure is the same as the first measure. The fourth measure is the same as the second measure where we started with the C chord, but the very first chord will be slightly different. What we're going to do is we're going to add the note F on top of the chord, so it will be a C chord with an added fourth. And we do this by barring on the top 2 strings with the first finger so that we hear F on top. And the rest of the measure is the same as the phrase that we learned during measure number 2. So if we put all 4 measures together, that's the intro. Let's try that together now. I'll count you in and play along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to take a look at the verse. The verse is very similar to the intro. What we're going to do is we're going to take bars 3 and 4 and repeat those 2 bars 4 times. This is where we play the C chord with the added 4th. And that's what Slash plays on the studio recording of this song. Live, he mixes it up. Sometimes he just plays the C chord, sometimes he plays the C chord with the added 4th. But let's try playing as the studio recording sounds right now. So here's the verse. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're up to the pre-chorus. I'll play through it and then we'll break it down. So this riff starts off with an A sus4 chord. Just form an open position A major chord, but add the 3rd fret of the B string, and that gives you A sus4. Followed by some single notes. 2nd fret B string, 2nd fret G string, 2nd fret to the open D string, 4th fret on the A string. So far we've done this. And we're going to play that 2 times. Followed by more open strings, open A string, open D string, 2nd fret low E, now D string and A string together open, followed by a G5 chord to a D5 chord, and then I'm going to catch the 3rd fret of the low E string. And that's the first half of the pre-chorus. Now we repeat the first phrase. We're going to repeat that G5 chord, but now we're going to play an A chord. And when I play the A chord, I'm just forming an A major chord, but I'm really just concentrating on the A, D, and G strings. So what you hear is an A5 shape. And then we end with a G5 chord. And if we put all of that together, that gives us the pre-chorus. So why don't we try that together? I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the pre-chorus.